So today I'll be sharing with you the glories of Srila Sukadev Goswami, who is a Mahabhagavat. And as soon as we recite the name of Sukadev Goswami, we are immediately reminded of Srimad Bhagavatam. These two are inseparable. Just like Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal, Sukadev Goswami is eternal too. So before I start with the prayers, I'll just give you a brief summary of what I'm going to do in my presentation. I'll take you on a tour of a very special place, a virtual tour, where Srila Sukadev Goswami spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam. And as far as I understand, I never heard of that place before. But because I was given this topic, I did some research and I found out the name of that place. And some of you might know it, definitely. It's called Sukratal or Sukratirtha. So we'll take a virtual tour of that. And after that, I'll narrate the story of the past life of Srila Sukadev Goswami. Who was he before he became Sukadev Goswami? And finishing that, I'll definitely talk about glories of Srimad Bhagavatam because these two are inseparable. And finally, glories of Srila Sukadev Goswami. And if time permits, then we'll go for a virtual tour of Naimisharayam, 3 minutes. So there's a lot to be covered. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurunmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sway Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Swapandantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Utpati Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sehgana Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Sadhuvaitam Savadutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sehgana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanscha Kalpataru Vescha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiryet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhautir Naishtaki Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavam Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. I would like to let you know that I'm not good at this digital technology. I got some help from some devotees, and I would like to acknowledge Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, who helped me to design this PowerPoint presentation, and also Kadam Khan and Prabhu to help me to share the screen, because I never did that before. And if I get into some difficulties, please do help me. I'll ask for help. Thank you. So I would like to take you on a virtual tour of Shukratal, where Sukadev Goswami narrated this Srimad Bhagavatam. And you will see several places in this video. And it is not made by a devotee. So you might see some ad also coming. So please forgive me for that. So give me a second, please.
If you're desperate to lose weight but nothing seems to work, imagine a diet-free exercise and wellness methods.
Can you hear and see?
We can hear, but we can't see the video.
Okay. I'll share it. Okay. Can you see now? Okay.
Thank you.
सितंबर 2018 में संतों की मांग पर यहाँ तक शुक्ति अर्थ महाभारत इसी पवित्र स्थान पर मौजूद है 51 वर्ष पुराना सेवट। श्रीमद् भागवत कथा सुनाई गई। वर्तमान में अक्षयवट की शाखाएं 150 फीट तक पहुंची हैं। अक्षयवट की विशेषता यह है कि यह पतझड़ के मौसम में भी अपने ज्ञात करता है। वर्तमान में इसी अक्षयवट के चारों ओर बनी है सनातन धर्म के सभी बड़े देवताओं का जो मानियात है, किसी से भी पूछेंगे तो यहाँ की विशेषताओं का जीवंत वर्णन आपको सुनने को मिलेगा।
Help Max again.
ये वही दिव्य वटवृक्ष है जिसके नीचे आज से करीब 5000 वर्ष पहले श्री सुखदेव जी महाराज ने राजा परीक्षित को भागवत शास्त्र के माध्यम से मोक्ष प्राप्त किया था। ये कथा महाभारत का से जुड़ी हुई है। जब अश्वत्थामा ने ब्रह्मास्त्र का प्रयोग किया, उस लोगों को ऋषि का आश्रम से मिलते गए, उनको प्रार्थना की, सभी ऋषि का आश्रम में पहुंचे, ऋषि भजन में बैठे थे, बार बार प्रार्थना करते हैं। उधर राजा प्रेषित अपने महल में पहुंचे, मैं सवेरे जाऊंगा, क्षमा मांगूंगा। तो द्वारपाल ने बताया ऋषि महाराज आए हैं, उनका स्वागत किया, जो भी दंड देना चाहते तैयार है, दंड तो निर्धारित हो चुका है, आपके जीवन के 7 दिवस है, एकांत जगह पर जाकर व्यतीत करो। तो राजा परीक्षित दर्शन पूरी गद्दी अपने बड़े पुत्र जन्मे को देखे इस स्थल पे आए, इसलिए राजा परीक्षित यहाँ पे आए। त्रिकालदर्शी संतमान का प्रकट हुए, मेरी मुक्ति का उपाय बताओ। जिसने घर में रक्षा कर उनका ध्यान, भगवान का ध्यान किया, सुखदेव मुनि को भगवान प्रकट हुए, छह भगवान की राजा के 7वां दिवस तो इस स्थल पे सुखदेव जी महाराज 2 बार प्रकट हुए। 5000 साल पहले प्रेषित को भागवत कथा सुनाई। 300 साल पहले राजस्थान में अलवर जिले में चरणदास जी का जन्म हुआ। उनको बचपन में सुखदेव जी का दर्शन हुआ। सुखदेव ने मधुर बेटा का पुण्य का प्रसाद दिया। इसी प्रकार से इस तीर्थ को विकास बनाने का श्रेय 3 योग के सदृष्टा स्वामी जी महाराज ने पूरे प्रयास से
शुक्तीर्थ सनातन धर्म में पवित्र और ऐतिहासिक स्थल है। पीठ के निकट एक गणेश धाम है। यहाँ पर भगवान गणेश की विशाल प्रतिमा है। उसी के पास स्थित है हनुमान धाम। यहाँ पर भी हनुमान जी का विराट रूप आपको देखने को मिलेगा। ये सेना के विभिन्न रूप भी आपको नजर आएंगे, जिन्हें देखकर अंदाजा लगाया जा सकता है कि इसी मानव सेना में धर्मयुद्ध में प्रदर्शन होती है। यहीं से कुछ दूर स्थित है शिवधाम। शिवधाम में देवों के देव महादेव का विराट रूप आपको आकर्षित करेगा। इसके अलावा देवाश्रम, दंडी आश्रम, मां पार्वती धाम, शंकर धाम और नरसिंह समेत कई भगवान के स्थल हैं। धाम में मानव जीवन से जुड़े सभी ग्रहों की प्रतिमाएं स्थापित हैं। मंदिर की बनावट बेहद आकर्षक है। सुखदेव में घूमने के लिए काफी धार्मिक स्थल है। लेकिन इस तीर्थ का सार उसी अक्षयवट में छिपा है जहाँ कभी सुखदेव जी महाराज ने था। जैसे ही आप अक्षयवट के नीचे खड़े होते हैं,
जिसके नीचे बैठकर सुखदेव जी महाराज ने महाराजा परीक्षित को श्रीमद् भागवत कथा सुनाई थी। इस वट वृक्ष की खासियत है कि यह बच्चा भी अपने ज्यादा नहीं जानता है।
यहीं से करीब 300 मीटर दूर में स्थित है गंगा घाट। यहाँ गंगा की छोटी महाराज है। यह घाट हरिद्वार ऋषिकेश के तेज और शक्तिशाली नदी की तुलना में बेहद शांत है। यहीं से कुछ संगम तक जाने के लिए यहाँ मोटर बोट उपलब्ध है। संगम दर्शन के साथ ही यहाँ पर मोटर बोट का आनंद लिया जा सकता है।
शुक्रवार अगर आपको यहाँ पर अलग शासन मिलेगी। हालांकि घाट पर खतरनाक अवसर है। सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से अपने हाथ में छड़ी या डंडा जरूर लेकर आए।
शुक्तीर्थ पर आने के लिए आप कोई भी विकल्प चुन सकते हैं। अगर आप हवाई मार्ग से आ रहे हैं तो यहाँ का निकटतम हवाई अड्डा जोली प्रांत है, जो लगभग 126 किलोमीटर दूर है। दूसरा निकटतम हवाई अड्डा इंदिरा गांधी अंतरराष्ट्रीय हवाई अड्डा नई दिल्ली में है। इसके अलावा ट्रेन से आसानी रखने के लिए सबसे निकट रेलवे स्टेशन यहाँ से 2.5 किलोमीटर बस से आने वाली यात्रा के लिए भोपाल प्राइवेट बस अड्डा और मुजफ्फरनगर रोडवेज बस स्टैंड से नियमित बस सेवा है। आप वहां से भी आ सकते हैं। आज के प्रोग्राम की वजह से आपको ज्यादा परेशानी नहीं।
सुखदेव में फिलहाल इतना है। वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो लाइक करें और हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें। आपसे फिर मुलाकात होगी किसी और ऐसे सफर में। तब के लिए नमस्कार।
Okay, where do I go? All right. So, Hare Krishna. So that was a virtual tour of Sukadev. I hope you have some idea what it looks like, and it's a very important place for all of us Vaishnavas, especially Hare Krishna. There is no Hare Krishna temple at the moment there, so something will be done perhaps in the future. So the next part of my presentation is about Sukadev Goswami's past life, and this is from a book called Anand Vrindavan Champu. It's written by Sri Kavi Karnapurna. Please, Haribol, close that. Thank you. So I'll be reading this. As I read, I'll try to show you some pictures. So Srila Sukadev Goswami was actually the dear parrot of Srimati Radhika. And the name of the parrot was Shriya Suk. Shriya Suk. Shriya means of Radhika. Sorry, I'll just go back to that. I'm not able to move to the next slide, Prabhuji. What should I do? Can anyone help me?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Could you please try the right arrow, perhaps? The right arrow?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not working. And should I? Oh, because pause was there, I think. No.
Is it a PowerPoint presentation or is it a PDF, Prabhuji?
PowerPoint. Your screen is paused, it says.
Mouse click should, yeah. Try starting it again, perhaps.
Yeah. All right, it's working. Thank you, Prabhu. So that's Srimati Radhika with her parrot, and her name is Shriya Sukha. So one day Srimati Radhika was feeding pomegranates to her parrot. She placed him on her hand and told him, "Oh Sukha, say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna." The parrot repeated in the same very sweet melodious tune and voice, and Srimati Radhika's, she imitated her voice, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. The parrot then flew away from her and went to Krishna's home in Nandagaon, which was situated nearby. There Krishna was sitting with Madhumangal, and they were talking about something. The parrot sat on the branch of a tree that was fully laden with dark green leaves and began to speak like Srimati Radhika with her sweet voice. Krishna, Krishna. Okay, where is it? Krishna, Krishna. Then Krishna asked, where is the sound coming from? No one is here. He then saw that a beautiful parrot was sitting on the tree. He was very sweetly calling to the parrot, come on, come on. And the parrot at once came to sit on his hand. The parrot said, Krishna asked him, what are you saying? Again and again. The parrot said, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And then the parrot added, I'm very, very unlucky. My Swamini, Srimati Radhika, she held me on her hand and gave me pomegranates. And she told me to repeat Krishna, Krishna. She is very merciful. She loves me so much. Unfortunately, however, because I have the nature of a bird, I flew from there and I have come here. When Krishna heard this, he began to caress the parrot and he said, speak again. In the meantime, Lalita and Vishakha arrived. They said, oh Krishna, this parrot belongs to Srimati Radhika. She cannot live without him. Please give him to us. Krishna replied, you can call him, and if he comes to you, you can take him. They began to call the parrot, but he did not come. They told Krishna, if any living entity comes to you, he will get your affection and never go anywhere else. If Srimati Radhika comes and calls him, only then he will come, otherwise not. Without this parrot, my Sakhi Radhika will not be able to remain alive. She is very upset. Krishna replied, I will not give him to you. If he personally wants to go, he can go. Then Lalita and Vishakha, who were very intelligent, went to Mother Yashoda and said, Srimati Radhika's parrot has come here. Our Sakhi is very upset. Please take the bird and give him to us so that we can return him to her. Mother Yashoda immediately said, sit here and wait. I'll come back very soon. She went to the place where Krishna was playing with the bird and said, what nonsense are you doing? You are always playing with the birds and animals. Give me the parrot and come with me. She took hold of Krishna's hand and took him to the palace. Your father is sitting and waiting for you to take bath and prasadam. You should go at once. Sri Krishna is the Supreme Lord, the Lord of Lords. But in front of Mother Yashoda, he is only a baby. He is helpless. He forgets his godhood. He forgets that he is all-powerful. Mother Yashoda gave the parrot to Lalita and Vishakha, and they returned with him to Srimati Radhika. When Srimati Radhika and Krishna were about to conclude their pastimes on the earth, this parrot wanted to go with them to their abodes. But Krishna and Radha told him, after we have returned, there will be no one to tell the residents of the world about Krishna Bhajan, Krishna Bhakti. It will be better if you remain here and preach Srimad Bhagavatam, that which Sukadev Goswami will tell Parikshit Maharaj. So please stay here. Shriya Suk, the parrot, remained here in this world. But he knew that without hearing Krishna's sweet pastimes, he would not be able to teach it. He therefore went to Kailash, where Lord Shiva was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to his wife Parvati. While Parvati was hearing, Sukha sat on a branch of a tree that was so laden with leaves that the entire tree looked dark green. Parvati Devi heard the first canto, but when the subject matter of the creation of this world, Sarga and Visarga, came up in the second and third cantos, she did not have any interest. So what happened? She fell asleep. She had been saying, when she was awake, she was saying, go on, very good, go on. And when she fell asleep, Sukha began to imitate her voice. And the Sukha said, oh yes, very good, go on. After this, what happened? Lord Shiva thought that Parvati was hearing, but when he had completed the 10th canto and was about to complete the 12th canto, Parvati woke up and said, oh Lord Shiva, I was sleeping. I have not heard anything after that. Then who heard? He asked. Can you, devotees, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you, but we can't see your screen.
Can you see the screen pictures?
No, Prabhuji.
Oh.
Yes, we can see.
Oh, you can see?
No,
Yes, but we can.
We can't see your shared screen, Prabhuji. We can see your video, but not the shared screen.
Will this do? This?
That's fine, Prabhuji.
That's fine. Okay, okay, fine.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, so Lord Shiva thought that Parvati was hearing, but when he had completed the 10th canto and was about to complete the 12th canto, she woke up, I'm repeating that, and said, oh Lord Shiva, I was sleeping, I have not heard anything. Then who heard? He asked. Looking here and there, he saw that a parrot was sitting on the very dark and green looking branch of the tree and saying, yes, yes, go on. Oh yes, very good. Lord Shiva took up his trident and the parrot flew away when he saw that. Lord Shiva followed the bird to, actually he wanted to kill him. Shuka flew at once towards Badrikashram, where Srila Vyasdeva was telling the same Harikatha, Srimad Bhagavatam, to his wife Vithika, who was hearing with great wonder. While she was hearing the wonderful pastimes of Krishna lifting Govardhan hill, she was astonished and she opened her mouth to show her excitement. So the parrot entered into her tummy through the mouth. Carrying his trident and very angry, Lord Shiva arrived there and he said to Srila Vyasdeva, oh Srila Vyasdeva, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Vyasdeva asked, where are you coming from? You are carrying your trident. It seems that you are very angry. Oh yes, have you seen any parrot coming here? Why are you searching for a parrot? He has heard Srimad Bhagavatam. Then why do you want to kill him? Lord Shiva replied, an unqualified person should not hear Srimad Bhagavatam. If an unqualified person hears what he is unqualified to hear, he may use it, misuse it, and create chaos in the society. The parrot is unqualified, and yet he heard the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasdeva asked him, what is the result of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam? Lord Shiva, one becomes immortal. Then Vyasadeva said, if he is immortal, how can you kill him, Shankar? Lord Shiva began to laugh, and then he returned to Kailash. The parrot was now in the womb of Srila Vyasadeva's wife, where he stayed for 16 years. Some people say 12. Well, I have read here 16 years. After 16 years passed, Srila Vyasadeva said to the baby in the womb, "Oh Prabhu, who are you? I don't know who you are. Why are you giving so much trouble to your mother? Please come out." The boy said, "I will not come out where Maya is present everywhere. I will not come into Maya." Srila Vyasadeva replied, "I will remove this Maya. Please come out." "I don't believe you." "Then who will you believe?" Vyasadeva asked. "I'll believe Krishna. If he will come and tell me to come out, I'll do so." So Krishna came there by the prayers of Vyasadeva and said, "Oh my son, I'm Krishna. I am removing Maya just for a moment. So please come out right now." "I believe you," Sukadev, the pair or whoever was. Sukadev Goswami said, Krishna at once removed his Maya. He personally sent the illusory energy far away so that Sukadev Goswami could come out of his mother's womb. And Sukadev Goswami came out at that moment. Sri Sukadev Goswami, after coming out, immediately ran towards the forest without giving any attention to Srila Vyasadeva and his mother. He was a Brahmana and a renunciate from birth. Vyasadeva thought, I have written Srimad Bhagavatam, but there is no qualified person in this world to whom I can teach it. From his very birth, my son has no attachment to any worldly things. He is actually qualified to hear. If he will hear, he will be able to preach this mission to the entire world. So he began to follow his son, calling out, oh son, please come here. Please return. But Sukadev Goswami did not return. While Sukadev Goswami was entering the forest, followed by Srila Vyasadeva, there was some heavenly damsels called Apsaras playing in the pond. When Sukadev Goswami passed by, they continued playing in the water naked in the pond. However, when Srila Vyasadeva, who was very old and had very long white hair, came by, they at once ran away. They quickly put on their garments and offered their obeisances to Srila Vyasadeva from very far away. Srila Vyasadeva asked them, oh my daughters of daughters of daughters, I am older than your grandfather's grandfather. When you saw my young son, beautiful and naked, you were not embarrassed at all. But I am so old. You are young enough to be my great granddaughters. But when you saw me, you felt shame. You at once dressed yourselves in your garments and offered obeisances. Why is that? The Apsaras replied, your son does not see whether someone is a man or a lady, a tree or a creeper. He only sees the soul and the super soul everywhere. But he spoke to us, addressing us as your granddaughters, great-granddaughters. This is why we became so shy in front of you. Then after this, Srila Vyasadeva wrote a verse and taught it to some hunters. He told them that if you sing this verse, you will be able to capture many birds in the forest. So these hunters went to the forest. They recited Srila Vyasadev's verse. And I'll just read the translation of the verse. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vajayanti garland, the Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dances as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:21-5. This is a very beautiful description of Krishna found in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing it from the hunters, Srila Sukadev Goswami was at once attracted. He came to them and asked, "Who has taught you this verse? Please ask him to explain the qualities of the person described in this verse." The next day, the hunters returned to Srila Vyasadeva, and Srila Vyasadeva gave them another verse, and the translation is, "Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast." Srimad Bhagavatam 3:23-23. The witch Putana went to Vrindavan to kill Krishna, as we know, having put poison on her breast. But Krishna is so merciful that after killing her, he gave her a destination like a mother, his nurse. Who can be as merciful as Krishna, who is there to take shelter of besides Krishna? Who is there to take shelter of besides Krishna? And after hearing this verse, Sukadev Goswami came to Srila Vyasadeva, and who then taught him the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Sukadev Goswami ki jai. So this is, I read it from that book, as I mentioned. Go back to here. Karnapurna, Shri Kavi Karnapurna's book, Anand Vrindavan Champu. I hope you understand the past times of his past life, Srila Sukadev Goswami's past life. Actually, he was the favorite parrot of Srimati Radhika. But he had to step back to give us this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so my next part is Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I think before that, I'll take you a virtual tour of Naimisharine. We'll visit, it's not a long one, maybe 3 or 4 minutes.
The Flybuys Black Friday sale is on now until we're taking it to 30% on Sundays.
Hare Krishna, are you able to hear and see?
No, Prabhuji.
Oh, Prabhu.
No, okay. Just give me a second. Share screen.
So we can see the screen, but no video, no audio, sorry, and no video. Oh, coming up now. Thank you.
Coming up now, eh? Okay, I think it should work now. Is it okay?
Yes, yes, you can see now. Thank you.
Okay.
Audio is low or no sound.
Sound is too slow. Okay. Thank you. So that was some glimpse of Naimisharayana. So, well, at the moment it's COVID, and you must have heard today's news. There's another variant coming in South Africa, which is more deadly than this current one. So, well, if we are still alive, then we can, and things are okay, we can make a tour of these two very important places in India. Shukratal, Shukratirat, and Naimisharayana. So I'll move on to the next part of the story, my katha, which is Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Glories of Srila Sukadev Goswami. I'll share the PowerPoint again. Let's see, please bear with me. Can you see it now? Okay, thank you. So, Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, because as I mentioned before, we cannot separate Sukadev Goswami from Srimad Bhagavatam. They are inseparable. So I thought of having few verses and thoughts by some acharyas about Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'll be grateful if devotees could read instead of me reading everything. So somebody could read this one, please. Unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll read it.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Divya Jnana or divine knowledge from God. The literary incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva, wrote them down. Therefore, they are also called Apurusheya, meaning that this knowledge did not originate from a person of the earth. It came from the spiritual world. It is also called the Daivi Shakti or the Parashakti, which means the internal energy or potency of God. To be absorbed in this higher energy is the perfection of life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Another devotee, please read this.
This Bhagavata Purana is as brilliant as sun, and it has arisen just after departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in age of Kali shall get light from this Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva. The incarnation of God. It is meant for ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.40. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Another one, please. Someone try.
In Kali Yuga, of what value are collections of hundreds of thousands of other scriptures if one does not keep the Srimad Bhagavatam in his house? In Kali Yuga, how can a person be considered a Vaishnava if the Srimad Bhagavatam does not find a place in his house? Even if he is a Brahman, he is to be considered lower than a dog eater. O Vipran, Narad, wherever in the Srimad Bhagavatam is recited in Kali Yuga, the Lord goes there along with the demigods. O Muni, a person who faithfully recites a verse of Srimad Bhagavatam every day attains the fruit of reading the 18 Puranas.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Another devotee, please.
This Srimad Bhagavatam is the very essence of the entire Vedic literature. The Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, and all other scriptures. The Srimad Bhagavatam is like a lamp. By the help of a lamp, we can see ourselves and others in darkness. Similarly, by reading and following Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing from any bona fide guru, we can see transcendental Krishna along with his associates and sweet pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Beautiful. Another one, please.
The Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda states, among all the Puranas, the Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Lord Krishna is glorified at every step by various great sages, is supreme. The conclusion is that simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one can have direct connection with Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and thereby one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly miseries, illusion, and filthfulness. These are practical tests for one who has actually given a submissive hearing to the readings of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So we're moving on to Glories of Srila Sukadev Goswami. So I will again, okay, before we go on to that, I have something else to share about Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll read it. It is said that only after many lifetimes of performing pious acts does one achieve the opportunity of being able to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. After many lifetimes. Also, wherever the Bhagavatam is read, Lord Krishna will manifest. It is also said that all of the holy rivers, kunds, ponds, and lakes, all sacrifices, and the 7 holy cities of Ayodhya, Mathura, Haridwar, Kashi, Kanchipuram, Ujjain, and Dwarka, and all the holy mountains are present where Srimad Bhagavatam is discussed. This is only a small portion of descriptions on the power, potency found within the vibrations of Srimad Bhagavatam. So such power is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you. So we'll be going to look at some of the glories of Srila Sukadev Goswami. And I'm sure, and you know that the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam and even Srila Sukadev Goswami is unlimited, just like Krishna. So we are just taking, I've just found few things and I'm sharing with you, and you may know many others. And after this, you can share some of those things with the devotees too. Sukadev Goswami's another name is Vyasakir. In that verse about the 12 Mahajanas, how does it go, Prabhuji? Anyone? So Sukadev Goswami is the son and disciple of Srila Vyasadeva. He's his son and he's also the disciple. What a fortune and opportunity. He's brother of Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. He's related to them. He is the instructing spiritual master of Sutta Goswami. And also he is a Guru Maharaj of Maharaj Parikshit. And before we go on to the other glories, I would like to just share that Srimad Bhagavatam has been narrated by great personalities. And amongst them they are not in order, but I'll just read, and most of you know, but it will be a reminder to us. Of course, it was first given to Lord Brahma by Lord Krishna. Tene Brahma Hridaya. Lord Krishna to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma passed it to Sri Naradji, his son. And Sri Naradji spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Srila Vyasadeva. So these are Guru and disciple. And Srila Vyasadeva spoke the same Srimad Bhagavatam to his son or disciple, Sukadev Goswami. And while Sukadev Goswami was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam in Shukratal or Shukratirth, Maharaj Parikshit was the main Shrota with so many other great sages and personalities present. Sutta Goswami was also there. So he, in turn, spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Shaunak Rishi. And then Shaunak Rishi spoke this to Maitreya Muni. And Maitreya Muni spoke it to Vidura. So, and definitely not forgetting Lord Shiva narrating this katha to Parvati Devi. So there are so many great speakers of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's move on to the glories of Srila Sukadev Goswami. So please, devotees, can you, if you can see it, can one by one read it, please.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Oh, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.44 by Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami ki jai. Oh, learned Brahmanas, when Sukadev Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Pariksit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the same thing as I learned from him, as I have realized it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry. Thank you. Another devotee, please.
If nobody's there, can I read, please, Prabhuji? Nobody.
Thank you, Nitai.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.2. Srila Sutta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage, Sukadev Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyasa, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed by the higher castes, his father, Vyasadev, fearing separation from him, cried out, 'O my son, indeed only the trees which were absorbed in the same feelings of separation echoed in response to the bereaved father.'" Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Nitaipat Prabhu. Nalini
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can I read?
Sure, thank you. Sorry, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.3. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sukha, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasadeva, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over the darkest regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge, after having personally assimilated by it by experience. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu, I'll read this one. Bhagavatam 1.2.42. Sukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, in his turn delivered the Bhagavatam to the great Emperor Pariksit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink. Srila Sukadev Goswami was a liberated soul, Amha Bhagavat. From his birth, he was liberated even in the womb of his mother, and he did not undergo any sort of purificatory samskara after his birth. At birth, no one is qualified, neither in the mundane or in the spiritual sense. But Srila Sukadeva Goswami, due to his being a perfectly liberated soul, did not have to undergo any evolutionary process for spiritual realization.
Thank you very much, Nandash. I think, yeah. So that was my last slide about glorification of Srila Sukadeva Goswami. I would like to take a few more minutes to share something important. You all know about this. You know that Srila Sukadeva Goswami did not directly mention the name of Radhika Srimati Radharani in Srimad Bhagavatam. So a reason given by as to why Sukadeva Goswami did not directly mention Srimati Radha's name in Srimad Bhagavatam is because Maharaj Parikshit had only 7 days to live, and uttering Radhika's name because he was in previous life, he was a very dear parrot of Sri Radhika. And Radhika was Sukadev and is Sukadev Goswami's worshipable deity. So, and uttering Radhika's name would have thrown Sukadev Goswami into ecstatic trance for 6 months. It's said that he would go on trance for 6 months, and Sukadev Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit has only 7 days to survive, you know. So that's why it is mentioned by the acharyas that he did not put Radhika's name directly in Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise, if he had gone on trance, what would happen? If Sukadev Goswami uttered the name of Srimati Radhika, he would at once remember her pastimes. Due to his Radha Prem, he would have become avista chitta, excited and fixed in remembering her pastimes and activities in the service of Krishna. He would have become internally fixed on Krishna and inert for 6 months. But Parikshit Maharaj had only 7 days to live, and Sukadev Goswami wanted him to have the benefit of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So yeah, so that's all I have. I would like to thank everyone for patiently bearing with all the discrepancies I had with digital tools, but I tried to share something about Srila Sukadev Goswami and Bhagavatam, and also taking you on a tour of these great places which I had never been to, Shukratal and also Naimisharayana. Hare Krishna. So how do I get rid of this stuff?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Bilvamangal Prabhu, for giving such a nice, wonderful description of Srila Sukadev Goswami and taking a tour